everybody? Welcome back to Reviewing the Elite, my brand new YouTube channel. And AEW Dynamite has had its second installment on TNT, and we're going to be breaking it down and reviewing it for you here tonight. But before we get started, I want to warn you, this does contain spoilers. So if you don't want to hear from me, you haven't seen it yet, you don't want to know anything about it, turn it off right now. Come back later. Also, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. We got some great prizes we're going to be giving away later on down the line to all the subscribers to Reviewing the Elite. All right, let's get right to it now. Listen, it was interesting that the show came on last night. I appreciated this. It came on, they did the opener, the announcer said hello to the crowd, and then they went right into the professional wrestling action. There was no 20-minute opening promo that you might be used to if you've been watching that other place all these years. People just come out and they talk for 20 minutes. You might think you're going to see a wrestling match at some point. You don't know. Here, AEW, they give you wrestling right from the gate. I appreciated it. The first match was the Young Bucks versus Private Party in the first match of the AEW Tag Team Tournament. I said last week that I noted all along that AEW was going to make tag team a staple, and they did in this match. Private Party, something that stood out to me right away about this was the second Private Party got introduced. They got introduced at 24 ounces of vodka and cranberry. They didn't have a combined weight. That was their weight. There were 24 ounces of vodka and cranberries. I thought that was hilarious. I hadn't heard that before. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention. Being a former bartender, I can appreciate it was funny as hell. All right, let's get into this match. The Good. It was a fast-paced match. It was what you expect from any Young Bucks match. It was fast-paced, high impact. They were all over the place. Lots of aerial moves. People just crashing on the floor everywhere, both in and out of the ring. The pacing of the match was superb, and that's really what you want from an opening match. You want an opening match that's going to go out, it's going to hype the crowd, get them excited. Real high-impact, crowd-pleasing shit. And I got to tell you something. Another good point to this match was that I love Private Party. They're a great young team. They remind me a lot of Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, the Rock and Roll Express, and I grew up watching them. They reminded me of them so much. Private Party is very, very hungry. They're a young team. They got brought into AEW. They're hungry, and they went out there and they gave it their all in that opening match. That crowd was hyped. They got the crowd hyped. They did just what they were supposed to do. The crowd was on its feet. The crowd was losing its mind. To me, that makes a match. If the crowd's not saying nothing, they're just sitting there like, whatever. Well, you know they're not doing a good match. Me, I like to hear the crowd. I like to know, hey, what the crowd thinks of this match. They loved it. The 2-on-1 play back and forth by the Young Bucks. Great tag team, great double team. Tandem offense as ever. The Young Bucks, like I said, just as good a tag team as you're ever going to see. And the other and final good point to this match was it was not as predictable as you might think. I went into this having a preconceived notion how it was going to come out. It did not come out that way. As a matter of fact, guess what? Private Party beat the Young Bucks to advance in the tag team tournament. You might be thinking to yourself, huh? Exactly. The Young Bucks, they're executive vice presidents of the company. You would think that, what could possibly happen here? No way. Private Party beat them. They're going on to the tag journey, and I would like to see them go all the way to the final. I really, really would. All right, the bad. I got one bad thing to say about this match. Excuse me. This match sets the tone for the rest of the tag team tournament, and it is going to be hard to beat. This match maybe could have come later in the tournament. This is going to be a hard act to follow. Other than that, I've got nothing negative to say about this match. It's going to be a hard act to live up to. I give it 4.25 stars, 4.25 stars on the Young Bucks versus Private Party. And next came Chris Jericho's promo. He came down to the ring with his band of cohorts. He came down to the ring with Sammy Guevara, Santana, Ortiz, and Jake Hager. And you saw at the end of last week's show that it looked like there was some kind of faction brewing, that something might be popping up. And they didn't waste any time this week telling you about it. he comes down, he introduces his faction, and I think the best part of this whole deal, because Jericho, he was putting on a promo clinic anyway. He was showing everybody in the audience and anybody in the locker room, this is how you get it done. He couldn't do any wrong. The crowd was chanting for him. He couldn't say anything wrong. And he started talking about Dusty a little bit. I don't know that went over well with a lot of people, but the best part of the whole deal was when he introduces Jake Hager. And the crowd starts chanting, "We the people, from his Jack Swagger gimmick when he was with Zeb Coulter. And he just flat out, says, "We the people sucks. It's dead and buried. It's a stupid idea from creative, and that's gone." And I damn near fell off my couch laughing so hard. Like he pretty much just put one right in the gut of the WWE, man, and a lot of people lost their minds on it. I thought it was great. People are still talking about it today. There's not very few mixed emotions about it. If you're a WWE fan, you hated it. Anybody else thought it was great. And he introduces his group, and he gives it a name right there, and it was the Inner Circle. It called themselves the Inner Circle. It's very, very Four Horsemen, NWO, DX-like. So we have our first faction in the AEW. Looking forward to seeing what they do next. One of the things I also noticed in this moment was that the language on the show got a little bit saltier at this point. It took me back to the Monday Night Wars. If you remember in the Monday Night Wars, WCW was a little bit edgier in the first bit of that because TNT and Turner, they weren't bound by nearly the same restrictions that the WWE was on the USA Network. So the WCW was able to get away with a little bit more, and it looks like we're seeing a reprisal of that. I know after 9 o'clock. Or 10 o'clock on the USA, it could get a little bit saltier, but it's fine. Different tastes for different crowds. I just thought I would bring it up. The next match of the night was Jimmy Havoc versus Darby Allin. The winner would get a shot at Chris Jericho's AEW Championship next week on Dynamite. Both of these guys, they love pain. They're sadists, man. They love taking pain. They love inflicting pain. Allen went the time limit with Cody Rhodes back at Fyter Fest, and that was really my first big experience watching him, and I thought he was amazing then. I thought he gave Cody the fight of his life. I thought going to the limit with Cody was great, so I was definitely looking forward to seeing this match. Now let's get into it. The Good. Darby Allin's speed and technical skill is kind of second to none for people that are in his area of the roster. He's very ring aware. It's just a joy to watch him wrestle. Jimmy Havoc, I've got to say this, is believable as hell. Is like the goth, maniacal kind of evil genius type deal he's got going on with the mask and the haircut and everything like that. He's believable. I've lived in a lot of places. I know a lot of different type of people, and I know people that look and dress and behave like him, and they are the real deal. And Jimmy Havoc, certainly the real deal, which makes him one of my favorite people in the AEW right now. The sleeper from the top rope. There was a point where there was a sleeper from the top rope, and I gotta tell you, I had never seen that before. I thought it was one of the most interesting things I'd seen in a wrestling ring in a very long time. And this match, it didn't look so much like a wrestling match as like two guys beating the hell out of each other. They were inside the ring, they were outside of the ring. It looked like a backyard, back alley barroom brawl. It was fun. If that's your pleasure, if that's the kind of thing you're into, it definitely had something for you. Now, here's the bad. This is just a personal idea of mine. You can hate it, you can love it. Let me know in the comments. But I kind of felt like you got a guy like Darby Allin wrestling a guy like Jimmy Havoc, and they're fighting for an opportunity to go for Chris Jericho's belt. These two are doing a completely different thing right now in the AEW. And you also have guys like Jon Moxley and Pac. Like, why not start to center them around maybe like a hardcore division or some type of X division or something like that. Like these guys could certainly climb up the ladder and be world champions one day, but these two guys are perfect opportunity to start initiating that different type of ring product. And the other criticism that I have of this match is that Darby was super fast, Jimmy Havoc was super slow, so you're kind of on this roller coaster of back and forth and slow and fast and slow and fast. The pacing felt very awkward, but nonetheless, I thought it was a great match. I thought the crowd, more importantly, thought it was a great match, and I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. All right, this concludes the first half of my review, part 1 of my review of AEW Dynamite for October 9th. I'm going to get the second half up this weekend. Make sure you check it out. Thanks, everybody, for watching.